Okay, this is U.S. Studies, the introduction, part 2, lesson 2 from it. It doesn't belong in any particular order, but it is important. And this is a video on recitations and memorizing. Now, it talks about resources, and the resources for what we have talked about so far are the great courses, the history, ancient history of North America, the books of Moses, Genesis, Doctrine and Covenants, Book of Mormon, and so forth, in the scriptures, the Bible, church history, and church books, doctrine, and so forth. We're going to talk in this course, which is the second lesson in the introduction, and which I had hoped to get done earlier than this, about using the quiz book. Okay? Record the items in the quiz book according to the date as you were directed in class or on the video. You put down the topic and then you expound upon it in the right-hand column. You are expected to know everything that you write down in this book. Okay? If you prefer to cards, use them. You know, it's basically up to you. But you need to get all the information down, whether it's in the quiz book, which is what we call the composition books, or if it's in cards. I think that at the upper levels, it's easier to have quiz books, because if somebody bumps you and you lose a bunch of cards, you're in trouble. You know? Number 4, fold the first page vertically so you only see the questions. Okay? That's how you use this. Ask yourself the first question and state your answer. Look up the answer by looking at the back of the folded sheet. Now, I can do that here. On the very first page here, I will illustrate. All right. This is the question. What is the purpose of studying history? Well, I can turn it over on the other side here, right here. The question, I'm sorry, I've gotten this off of the camera. Okay, so I folded this in half. What is the purpose of studying history? Well, I turn it over and there it is. Okay? The purpose of the study of history is to learn from history, to avoid bad practices, and to encourage good practices. Okay. Now, when you do that, if your answer and the written answer are the same, or basically the same, does not have to be word for word, use your pencil to make one small check, okay, underneath the number of the question. So, okay, question 1, I am going to make a small check underneath number 1, right there. And you can hardly see it, but that is there. If you look very carefully, it is there, right? Then you go to the second question, and you do the same thing. What is our objective in this course? Well, our objective is to give you information so that you can make good decisions, right? Our objective is to give you important information that gives you wisdom and understanding that helps you in making wise decisions in your life. You can condense that down, you know, I mean, I was going on quite a bit about it. Okay, so that's what you do. If you don't know it, what happens? Go over the question a second time, at least 2 hours later. If you know it, add another check. If not, erase the first check. Woohoo! So you are asked to go through your quiz book a couple times a day, at least 2 hours apart. Go over the question several times until you can answer correctly 5 times in a row. And I would suggest that that be over a 5-day period. Even if you have 4 checks for step 4, consecutive tries, and miss the 5th time, erase the checks and start over from the beginning. Sounds like the card system, right? So if you have 4 checks and you can't answer it correctly the 5th time, erase all the checks. Start over. Okay? Okay, number 11. After you have mastered a fact by knowing it correctly, after 5 consecutive tries, erase the 5 checks and put a W for weekly review. Review, choose a day of the week to review your history facts. Say on Wednesday, put WW, or if on Monday, WM, or Tuesday, TW, or WT. On Thursday, WTH in pencil, and review the fact next week on that day. Okay? Number 12, if you know your weekly review questions, put a check after the weekly review, a Wednesday WW, or whatever you're using. If next week you do not know it, erase the WW and start over with 5 consecutive daily checks. If you do know it, the second week, put a second check after the code. Keep working on it until you know the answers 4 weeks in a row. Now it's the same type of thing as the cards, as the card system. It's just using the quiz book. 13, when you know the answer 4 weeks in a row, erase the weekly code and checks and put monthly. Answer the question correctly and put a check. As long as you answer the question each month, you can put a check by it. You can keep the question in the monthly category. So you're going to put an M and then check it once a month. What is the goal of the quiz book system? The goal of the quiz book system is to have every question in the monthly category. However, during the last month of the year, all new questions should be at least in the weekly category. Now, that's how you use the quiz book. So, to go over that again, it's very simple, and you're probably scratching your head or what's going on, Mrs. K? I didn't follow that. Well, okay, okay. Number 1, you're going to record items as directed in class or on a video, right? You're expected to know everything in the book. Number 3, if you preferred the cards, use them. Number 4, fold the first page vertically so you can only see the questions, right? So we did that, right? We folded it. There's the first page. We folded it vertically so you could only see the questions. There's the questions right there. You ask yourself the question, you check it on the back side here, and the rest of the page. If it's correct, you put a soft check. You do that and you answer correctly 5 days in a row, you put a W for weekly review. Now, you want to use the letters of the week, days of the week. So if you're going to do it on Monday, it's weekly Monday. If it's Tuesday, weekly T. If it's Wednesday, weekly WW. Thursday is weekly TH, and Friday is weekly F. Okay? If you can do that for 4 weeks in a row, and you don't miss any, then you go and erase the W's and the checks and you do an M, monthly. So you pick out one day in the month that you're going to review your histories that are under that. If at any time you don't know it, it's just like the card system. You go back to the daily reviews and you do it till you get 5 checks in a row, and then you can do it weekly. When you get 4 weeks in a row, then you can do it monthly. As I said, if at any point in that time you forget it, it's back to the 5 checks for the week to work up to the weekly. You put in here what you're prompted to put in from the courses, from the videos, and from the lectures. Now, that's how to use the composition book as a quiz book. All right? Now, I am going to give you and send you printed material on all this. Exactly what's in the composition book, in my composition book, because I want that in your composition book so that you understand. So I will be sending that to you. Now, another lesson, it's a sub-lesson, and I called it lesson 3 because it really is, but I wanted it part of the introduction, and that is learning memory verses or recitations. So I have way A and way B here. Way A is by phrases. Now, if you have Ether 12, for example, that you're trying to memorize, and I will get it here very quickly, I hope. There we go. Ether 7, 10, 13. Well, we go back a little bit, and we'll get to Ether 2 is what I wanted, isn't it? I keep thinking the verse number is the chapter number. Okay, Ether 2:12. Okay. Now, you can do it by phrases. And copy a phrase down like, behold, this is a choice land. Behold, this is a choice land. Behold, this is a choice land. And what I would suggest is that you use all channels of input. Use a pen, write it down, say it as you're writing it, look at it, think about it. Maybe you can visualize the outline map of the United States or something. But behold, this is a choice land. And if you get all tactile and auditory, you get muscles here and here, and even in your eyes that are recording what you're saying and the feeling and so forth, it's going to be a lot easier. You're putting it in so many different channels that it's going to be a lot easier. But you have to concentrate. You can't be thinking of what you're going to be doing at the meeting at church tonight, or what the camping trip that you're going to take, or whatever. You can't do that. Or the movie you're going to go see. You've got to concentrate and get everything else out of your mind while you're doing this. So that's basically phrase by phrase. Then after you have, behold, this is a choice land, and, okay, this is a choice land. Then to phrase 2, and whatsoever nation shall possess it, and whatsoever nation shall possess it. Again, keep going, and whatever nation shall possess it. Behold, this is a choice land, and whatever nation shall possess it. And keep going like that, keep going like that. Then 3rd, shall be free from bondage and from captivity. Now, I have broken it up into pretty small phrases. In fact, here I have I have 8 phrases, I believe, for chapter 12. But you can, or for verse 12, you can break it up into the phrases that you feel are logical and that you can memorize. Okay? And do that. Write it down. Rest a little bit. After you have done 2 or 3 phrases, rest a little bit, come back, see if you can do them, and add another 1 or 2. And pretty soon you will have it done. Using your muscle memory here, and in your mouth and your throat, in your eyes, in your ears, that's one thing. Okay, but you have an auditory, a visual, trying to think of what it's called, but anyway, a hearing as well as a speaking, and the teaching, the touching, the muscle memory. It goes in so many ways and so much easier. Now there is way B. Write it out several times, leaving out different words each time. For example, blank, this is a blank land, and whatsoever blank shall blank it, blank be blank from, okay? Now, you don't want to leave that many words out. What you can do is write it on a sheet of paper, and then use your whiteout if you want to, or you can just use a black marker or what. And when you feel that you have learned a word, blank it out. And then write it again with the word in it, or say it again with that word in it that you have blanked out. Now, or blocked out, or blacked out, whatever. And go over that, and go over that, and go over that. That's way B. And that is a very, very good thing to do. I prefer that way myself because that helps me. It really doesn't matter which way you use, but those are two very excellent ways because you're saying it again. If I had it all up here on the board of Ether 212 and I just started erasing words, okay, that would be, and we could say it over and over again, and I think we would probably have it memorized within the 20 minutes because it just going over and over it again. And then go back and do it again. You might have lost it and oh my goodness, but start it again and again and again, and you will get it. I'm very, very positive because that's just a really good way of doing it. I like to take out the words and every once in a while. I remember we did that with the junior high group in the school, and they had it within 5 minutes. It wasn't a big problem. So try that. Try one of those techniques. Either taking it phrase by phrase, writing it, saying it, so you're listening to it too, looking at it, and then add another phrase, and then add another phrase, and so forth. Or write it all out, and then start erasing words here and there. And then the next time you say it, include those words as you say it, but erase more words. So if you get to a spot where you've erased too many words, we'll restore a couple that you've forgotten. But keep at it. I know you can do it, and I know you can memorize it. Okay, well, this is the second lesson for the beginning of the introduction to the history.